Hey there, fellow witches and psychonauts and spiritual seekers and woo-woo peeps. It's been some time. I know I put up my Samhain spreads a few days ago, but it's been some time since I've shown my face around these here parts, and I thought it might be nice to check in with you guys on Samhain and just say hey and share a few thoughts that have been rattling around in my brain box about Samhain and its energy, and just like, oh, it's just off the fucking hook, isn't it? It's different. It's different, and it's such a because where it's placed on the wheel of the year is such a time of changes in the weather, particularly in this country. Just such a sharp turn in the weather and the temperature and the smells in the air when you go out, and it's such a trigger to what was happening not only this time last year, but also in previous years as well, you know, whenever significant stuff has gone on, or just whenever you catch a scent of the air, or just the scent of, like, you know, the special, like, you know, limited edition coffees that they do at Starbucks, or fucking just the smell of burning wood and the smell of fireworks, and because we have like fireworks night here in early November. So it's a big time of, it really honours the Samhain theme, because you can't help but look back, and you can't help but think about what's past and what's gone and what's dead and what's no longer there, and honouring that and mourning that, and you can't help it because of the triggers, because of the weather and these associations that you have, you know. I think September is a transitional month, and then October as the month where it really starts to get crisp in this country, you know, the air really starts to get crisp. Those months for me are nostalgic as fuck. A lot of old music will come out. I'll have the urge to watch films I haven't seen for a long time. I'll write in my journal mostly about memories, and yeah, you know, it's just a super nostalgic time in the calendar, and that's very fitting for Samhain. To me, Samhain is about death. That's one of the biggest themes of Samhain for me that I return to. It's about death, it's about mourning, it's about loss, it's about the value of things being temporal. It's about the meaning that is given to things just by virtue of the fact that one day they will inevitably decay. And maybe that's a little goth for some of y'all to get on board with, but that's how I feel. And that's kind of how it is for me. So that's definitely been a massive theme for me this Samhain, is just kind of the smell of the air and what it's bringing back to me, particularly about this time last year, which was a very chaotic time in my life. Very, very transitional. Very transitional. This time last year was an incredibly transitory stage for me in my life. My stuff was in bags, you know, and I was between places to live, between apartments, between parts of the country. I was also making a lot of slow and painful realizations about some of the connections that I'd had in my life, and just how sturdy the foundations for those relationships were, and actually some of them weren't half as sturdy as I thought. And that seemed to be very appropriate for Samhain. That seemed to be very Samhain-esque. And not easy for me. I will say that, not easy for me. But definitely needed and definitely worthwhile. Last year's Samhain for me was so much about death. That was really overt. That was really in my line of sight. That was totally obvious that things were dying, that my old life was dying, that some of my connections were dying, that my way of approaching my spirituality was dying and something else was beginning to flourish. My mentality regarding my business was definitely dying. But so much new shit was being birthed as well at the same time. There was no hole, really. There was no void. Everything was being filled with something else that had to come through. But it didn't make the deaths any easier, you know. It didn't enable me to skip over the mourning process and to really tune in with what was really painful for me. And that's something that I do as a person, you know. I choose not to skip over that stuff. I choose to confront. That's what I've done for many, many years, and it's always helped me. It's always been something that I've needed to do. So it wasn't as though I skipped any of that, but it was obvious that new things were flourishing, and the energy of Samhain was not just an energy of mourning and releasing and letting things go and accepting and looking back and burying things and shamanic funerals and all that kind of thing, but it was also like a fucking launch pad for me. It was like a what now, because something is now, and grasp this, you know. It was really like, it was the more intense and active part of what I would consider the energy of death to be. Like, like kind of the death goddess who presides over a realm, and she runs that realm, and she runs it with an iron fist, but she runs it fairly and with diplomacy, and she's dedicated to her work. A lot of you will know, if you've watched my videos for any length of time, that my matron goddess is Hel, the Norse goddess of the underworld. And I see her as having given me an incredible sense of discipline and commitment, and just, I don't even know, like a steadfastness, basically, just a stability, a sense of consistency and keeping going and staying the fucking course. That is so much the energy of what she's given me as an archetype to learn from and work with over time. And there was that sense last Samhain of like, look, this shit is dying, and now it's time to decide what you want to build. You know, like Samhain is new year. Don't forget to make those resolutions and start to actually act to bring them into being. So that was exciting last year, for definite. But there was a lot of pain last year as well. There was a lot of things I was saying goodbye to. And after Samhain, you know, as Yule approached, a lot of healing to be done. And I am only just coming to the end of the healing process of some of the things and some of the people that I lost in the last year, since last Samhain. The illusions that were shattered into 1,000 fucking pieces, and thank God, you know, but it doesn't make it easy, you know. You can't be pleased that an illusion is shattered straight away. You need to go through that process, and that process is fucking hard. I'm a rambly witchling. I'm sorry, I'm backed up. It's been so long, and I want to talk about that a little bit, because that's very relevant to this year's Samhain process for me. So I kind of feel like the reason that I went on a kind of hiatus from video making was because I needed to hibernate a little bit. I needed to retreat a little bit. And it was mostly because I put so much into September, and I took on so much information about so many people's stories, and it started towards the end of September to become apparent that even though I'd done a great deal of shielding and a great deal of grounding and a great deal of protection work at my altar and stuff, sometimes there does come a point where you just hit the maximum amount of self-love stories and self-love details and information about other people's journeys that you can actually physically and emotionally keep down. You know, you can't keep it in you. It's so much. And it was like a fucking ocean of feeling. And on the last week of September, I cried a lot. I just read so many stories and heard so many stories and took on so much information from so many amazing people that dared to share those things with me, that it became apparent that I'd gone too far, and I needed to step back. And I'm still waiting for the time to be right to watch the last batch of self-love stories that were made and to read the last batch of blog posts, and they haven't yet been added to the master post. I'm just going to be honest, I don't want to add them to the master post without watching and reading them, and I needed to slow down. And I've decided that next September, when Self-Love September rolls around, we're just going to have self-love stories. I'm not going to do a private paid purchase option. That will happen at another time, because I know that I can't spread myself that thin again. I can't watch people's stories and absorb people's stories and really like feel it, and I want to feel it, you know. I don't want to brush over it. I want to watch every video with such an incredible amount of dedication, because I want these stories, I relish them, I want to listen to them, but I can't do that and also run a private Facebook group and also run a paid course and also do my videos on YouTube. I kind of realised I'd hit my fucking limit, and I was like, whoa, okay, this is just it's a little much, you know, with an ordinary client schedule as well on top of that. You know, I'm a spiritual counsellor by trade. It's my full-time job. I card sling by trade, so I don't stop doing that just because September rolls around. You know, I'm still doing that too. And what I felt like right at the end of September was I felt a little bit like John Coffey in The Green Mile during that scene where he just can't quite cough it up, you know, like he's taken this pain away from this person and he can't and that was how I felt a bit. No, I'm not saying I feel like I took pain away from anyone. I'm not saying that at all. That would be presumptuous and arrogant and untrue of me. When you tell your stories, you release something for yourself. You know, you don't need me to facilitate that for you, and I understand that. But I felt like I'd taken on a hell of a fucking lot. And I wanted to take on more as well. I wanted to drink in more, but I had to just stop because it was an incredible feeling of just being full to capacity. And if I think about it now, I get choked up again because it's just so much. It's just, So I just felt this overwhelming feeling of empathy and compassion that I've never felt during my time doing this before. Like, Self-Love Stories was just off the fucking hook, honestly. And the stories that people shared with me in the private Facebook group for the paid purchase option were unreal. And again, at the end of September, I had to step back from that as well. And I explained that I was taking a break. I've taken a break from my business group, my private business group. I've taken a break from video making. I've taken a break from Twitter, from Instagram. To a large extent, I've taken a break from Facebook. I've only posted once or twice here or there. So all I've really been doing is serving my clients. And I'm lucky enough and blessed enough at this point in my career that I've built for myself that I don't have to be present on social media, 24/7 in order to have people know that I'm there and I'm available for services. So I've had full-time work all month without having to actually check in on Facebook and Twitter. People know I'm here now. They know they can come and buy something from me. So I'm very, very, very blessed for that. Because I know in the opening stages of an online business, you do need to be present. You have to be present. Of course, you should take time for yourself for self-care, but essentially you need to be showing people that you're around and putting out consistent content, blogging or making videos or whatever you're doing. And for me, it was amazing to see that I could step back for quite a few weeks, pretty much for the whole of October, I would argue. I've stepped back and it hasn't affected my business. And that means everything to me. It's everything that I could take this time to just, put the brakes on a bit for me. And that means a lot. And if you've been a client of mine ever, and especially if you've been a client of mine during the month of October, I just want to thank you sincerely from the bottom of my heart for thinking of me as a person that could be there for you and that you would like to work with. It means a lot to me. It means more than you probably can know, because it means more than I can really explain in plain English. It's great to be able to step back and see that my business actually doesn't suffer, and actually as a result of stepping back from social media, when I feel drained, I can give everything that I need to give to my clients and make sure that I'm not compromising on that. That's very, very important to me. My clients are extremely important to me, and I want to give as much as I can, the greatest extent that I can, and I don't want to have to chop myself up into too many little pieces. If I'm feeling drained, I want to be able to focus where I need to focus, and it's just amazing that I can do that and that I don't have to be present on social media at all times, that people will still return to me for readings and for sessions. And if you're listening to this and not realising that I sell readings and sessions, I sell readings and sessions. Click below, kelly-maddox.com. I'm always happy to meet new clients. I'm always pleased to see new faces and do readings for new people, and it's just a blessing. It's just, all of it is just such an incredible blessing, and it's something to be so grateful for, and I'm grateful for it every day. I do not take a second of this for granted. The fact that I can do what I love to do full time it's out of this world, I'm riding on a shooting star. This Samhain for me has been more about life, rebirth, than about death. And that's been really, really interesting to see the other side of the coin. There was just so much death last year. There was so much mourning to be done between Samhain and Yule, particularly. And then even at Imbolc, I was like, dealing with stuff to do with death, the death of what I thought was true, and the death of some key friendships, and just death everywhere. So it's really interesting this year. There's so much of a sense of rebirth, like I'm celebrating things having come back to life in a different form, and I'm celebrating opening myself up again to experiences that I have been cut off from for a really long time. I'm celebrating second chances, and I can't explain it, it's like I'm stepping onto new territory, but it reminds me of old ground that I've raked over before, but it's a different version. There's a different energy to it, and it's reminding me of all the lessons that I've learned in the past, and it's helping me to put together and extract new lessons that I hadn't quite grasped from the past 12 months. And now I'm just coming to this point where I'm like, I'm here again in this state of openness and this state of readiness to give. And it's been incredible. And I've used this month to really connect with people. I've used this month to connect with people in my real physical life. I have definitely stepped away from emails, and if you're waiting on an email, I can only apologise, but I really felt like I needed to be in more tangible reality. And I'll get to people, I will get to people, but I needed to be in tangible reality. I just had to feel things, that there was something, a physical thing to it, you know. And there's friends that I've met this year that I really wanted to just really give time to, and I wanted to like bust that mother bitch wide open. I wanted to really conversate. I wanted to really get to the bottom of who these people were. I wanted to like message them all night long. I wanted to go for drives with them, you know. I wanted to go to gigs with them. I just wanted to throw myself into life. And I chatted to some people on Skype as well, which was really cool. And I managed to be present with people a lot more than I have been in previous months. I've been really like shutting down in previous months, and just, you know, letting my friends know that's what I'm doing. Like, I'm shutting down, I'm not coming out to as many things, I'm not going to be answering messages as regularly, I'm just kind of like hibernating. I'm very confident about doing that. I'm really okay with doing that. And people that want to be in my life for any length of time have got to be okay with me saying I am actually hibernating, I'm in a hermit phase. Don't worry about it, it's not you, it's just one of those things. I need that, you know what I mean? And I need people to not take that personally, and I don't take that personally with them either, as long as they let me know and I know they're okay. Then no news is good news in my book, you know. As long as they're letting me know that they're having that reflective time, I fully support that. So I kind of need people to do the same for me, and I'm not, you know, I'm not bashful about saying that that's what's happening, and I have been saying that. But now, as it moved into October, and I just gave myself that foot on the brake, you know, from the social media stuff and being so present on YouTube and things like that, and doing emails. I get an incredible amount of email. When I gave myself that step back, I filled it with connections that needed my attention, that actually, you know, I'm not saying they were suffering, but they needed me to show up, you know. And I feel amazing about the fact that that happened. I've really like cemented some stuff, and it's fucking awesome. I'm really happy about that, so that's good. And I've said goodbye to some bad habits and some tendencies for procrastination and resistance on certain things that have been scary to me, or that don't really kind of gel with my personality. I've actually grabbed those things during the month of October, and I've actually really like done the business, you know. I've really allowed myself to do that, and that's been awesome. That's just been really, really cool. So I've kind of said goodbye to some old traits of mine that I needed to accept and confront the fact that they were there so I could integrate them, and I've done that this month. So that's something else that I've spent my time doing while I've been away, which has been awesome. Oh, I'm drinking apple and blackcurrant. It's a Twinings blend, which I know is like proper mainstream, and I do prefer to drink like artisan tea, preferably that was made by like witches. But this apple and blackcurrant is the bomb. Oh yeah, that is mint. That is mint, famalam. Samhain gets more holy for me every single year. It really does, and I feel so blessed that it's here, and it's just so gorgeous. I went for a run this morning. Not as early as I normally do. I left about 9 o'clock in the morning. I normally go like 7 or 8 in the morning. And I walked out of the house to like limber up on the front porch, and the air was so fucking crisp and delicious. I've been into several shops today. I went to get some keys cut, and I went to buy like some toothpaste and things. And I was talking to people, and every single one of them said, isn't it a gorgeous day? Isn't it so fresh? Isn't it just the most wonderful 1st of November that you've seen in a long time? And yes, these are conversations that English people really have. And there's no smoke without fire. That stereotype comes from a real place. We love to converse about the weather. And it was a joy for me to say, like, yes, it was incredible. I went out first thing this morning and I ran my heart out, and it was beautiful. It just felt so fucking good. And there's a deeper layer to it for me. There's that extra enriching layer just to understand all of these themes that are coming up for me, these things that I get to check in with and reflect on. And it's just absolutely magical. It feels so good. I'm feeling particularly alive at this point on my journey. I'm feeling particularly potent. I'm feeling like things are coming to life. I'm feeling like it's a celebration of the rebirth of some things that I've missed. I've missed them, and they've come back to me. And a lot of it's private and I can't talk about it, but oh my god, it's, yeah, Yes, yes, baby. Yes, it's just gorgeous. Thanks for contending with me having some time away, and thank you to the people who sent emails just checking that I'm okay. I'm absolutely fine. If you ever don't see me around and you're wondering if I'm okay, there's a very high likelihood that I've posted on my Facebook page that I'm taking some time off from social media. I always do let people know, and it's normally via Facebook and also quite often via Twitter as well. So you'll find all the links to my social media in the down bar below. I'm feeling a different energy for November. I'm feeling fresh. I'm feeling ready to come back and just chat shit like I do, you know. That's what you can rely on me for. I'm feeling a hard ramble or three coming on. If this wasn't enough for you, hang on to your fucking hats, sweethearts, because it's all to play for. It really is. I am like, blah, blah, blah. it's gonna all happen this month for sure. And I'm feeling really excited about hopping back onto social media as well, you know. I hang out with so many really inspiring people that make things, business owners that are really like into it and things are really popping for them, and they've got so many good ideas, and just so many people wishing me well and just wanting me to have all good things, and me the same for them, and you know, just exchanging ideas and just being there for each other. And I miss that. I'm glad I've taken some time away. I haven't watched a single witchy YouTube video, I don't think, for like all month pretty much. You know, so I've really taken a back seat. Spent quite a bit of time at my altar, and spent quite a bit of time, as I said, with some friends that I really wanted to like go deeper with. And I just feel like I'm refreshed now and I'm ready to come back. I will be watching the rest of the self-love stories. I'm really sorry if I didn't get round to watching your story or listing it on the master post. I haven't forgotten about you. It's just, it was quite a lot and it was just too much by the end. And that's not to say that I didn't enjoy the stories. I fucking loved them and I wanted to give every single one of them my sincere attention. But I just realised that there was so much that I was taking on, and it was incredible. It really was. And I want to say that you fucking people are so brave and so fucking beautiful. God damn it, Samhain, why? Tone it down, Kelly, tone it down. Turn it down to 4, babe. It's all going to be fine. The stories that you shared during like Self-Love September was so fucking inspiring. So many of the comments that I received underneath my videos were so inspiring. You're so honest and so brave. And so many of you have come so far, and I know some of you are in the shit right now and it's painful and you don't know which way to turn, and I totally have been there. I've been there, I was there for a long time. But honeys, grasp this energy, take it and use it, it's yours. And know that like I've seen so many of you, just reading your comments, watching your videos, reading your blog posts, reading the stuff you've written to me on Twitter and Facebook, like reading your emails. I've seen you and I've witnessed your majesty and you've kept me going. Like it's just unreal. I'm so there. I feel so blessed that so many of you have chosen to come forward with some of the stories you've come forward with as well. I mean, they're brave. They're fucking brave. And you've given other people permission to be brave now too, whether you know it or not. You've set a seed in the soil of this world through doing that. When we share our stories, we strengthen each other and we find parts of our soul again and we reconnect those fractured parts of our soul again. I believe that. I believe that with all my heart. Have a beautiful rest of Samhain if it's still Samhain where you are. I hope you've enjoyed this video and more to come. Stay tuned. Much love and blessed be.